Hi. Oh, death, won't you spare me over for another year? We're going to talk about death this afternoon. As you may remember, this is a kind of a series of material on dark jokes, and I'm old Rob of Dark Humor, and this is the 18th, no, the 8th episode of this thing, and this one's going to be about death. Because some of the crew and our family are a little concerned about their occupation, and it might lead to unwarranted circumstances. And so I told them, I'll tell you a little bit about death. Um, and this is what it is. We've got people and mammals, other animals that have organs that allow them to exist. I don't want Bailey feed my hunting dog. He's not much good at hunting, but he's good looking. so, uh, um, so anyway, we got these organs that function, and when they quit function, the organ quits living, and we have a name for it, and we call it death. And everybody dies. Sooner or later, everybody dies. So it's kind of interesting relationship. Everybody knows they're going to die, but nobody talks about it. But a few people have expressed this concern that you might imagine this as you're standing on a big cliff, and on one side over here is darkness. On the other side is an array or a landscape of all the stuff that you've done in your life, and maybe some of the stuff that other people have done. And so you're faced with that, nothing on the one hand and remembrance on the other. Now, this has been musically expressed by Richard Strauss in his tone poem called The Death and Transfiguration, which is good listening. You might try it some of these times. But a lot of people are concerned about what might be life after death, some sort of life. There are a lot of people that have drummed up many ideas about what it may be, and some of them are funny, and that's the ones I want to talk about today. Not many of them, but a few. Others' ideas have ended up in wars, unfortunately, and that's just the way it is, I guess. So, but anyway, a few of these situations have ended up natural situations that have ended up in a happy circumstance. If what a little dark, a little bit dark though. For example, I picked out one. This happened in 1160 or something like that, and King Henry of Germany. He was the second, I think, and he called a meeting of all the nobles and those upper class folks, and for a decree. Back then, they didn't have to worry about the debt ceiling. They just decreed whatever they wanted. So they got all together in this meeting house, and it was a wooden house, and they were too heavy. The Germans back then were still pretty heavy people, and anyway, the house collapsed, and everybody collapsed with it. What happened was that there was a cesspool in those days, a latrine, underneath the house. That's the way they did it, I guess. Anyway, everybody fell in that cesspool, and 60 of them died, drowning in their own excrement. Nobody thought it was terribly funny when they were standing there looking at it or were in it, But there was a young man in this, a young boy about 10 or 11 years old. So he observed everything, and he thought a minute, and he said, "Holy shit! Wait till St. Peter hears about this mess." And a few people heard him, and they started laughing at the happenstance of this thing. And then they were laughing and pulling out bodies from the excrement, and had a good time. And from there on, young boys have been in charge and have been the world leaders in bathroom jokes. And I want you to remember that. You've all had experience in that area. Now, on the other hand, with respect to jokes that were deadly, here's an example I'm going to give you. It has two angles to it. Two themes or two endings to it. Anyway, here's a. It's today we got joke writers. We craft these jokes, and I don't much, but some people do. And here's one. Hey Jim, there's a big crowd in front of your house out here. One of them called the cops. They said there's gunfire in your house. And Jim answers, "No, there's no problem with a gunfire. Grandma broke out of the attic again and came down and switched channels on the TV right when I was in the middle of the ball game, and so as a consequence, I told Grandpa, put that M1 rifle down and go in the kitchen and fix his wife, I guess, his grandma, a nice cup of tea." Now that's one ending for this joke, and nobody too much laughs at it. It's a good ending. And the other ending is after there's a change in the TV without his permission, he says, "So I had to just shoot the son of a bitch." And it's actually, I didn't say it right. It's "shoot the old bitch." so hope they won't cut that out. I don't think they will. Anyway, that is the sort of joke that really inspires some negative thinking, the last interpretation of the joke. And there's even some interest in banning the kind of stuff that's associated with it. But I don't believe in that. There's a lot of reasons for writing jokes the way they occur. So now there has been a lot of research in jokes over the time, and I've done some of it. The search engines have. They listed a bunch of occasions when there was an unusual death. Some of them funny, some of them not. But the thing that I have noticed in my research is that death by laughter is a very common occasion. Now, that doesn't mean that a lot of people die by laughter, because most people are not happy with their dying, but this has occurred. For example, I'll pick one out here, and this is Scott Thomas Urquhart, who I think he was a politician. He must have been. He died from laughing after hearing that Charles II was whatever they do, anoint the king or make him the king or whatever it was. He laughed so hard at that transition that he died. Now, it may be that people in England right now better just watch out what they're laughing about, because we've got Charles III coming up here. So anyway, I think that thinking about this, that maybe these people are not dying because of the subject they're laughing at. They're dying because syncope. Syncope is a physical condition in which you pass out quicker, then you know that you're passing out. And then you wake up later, half an hour, 20 minutes if you wake up, and wonder what the hell happened. Well, it's a true condition. It's a medical condition, and it's possible that after you start laughing, it kind of takes over, and especially if you're laughing and coughing at the same time, you just may get cough syncope. And if you are going on one of the machines they're using in COVID now, they're not. I'm not going to call them dying machines, but they're lung machines. But if you're going on one of those as a curative measure, please don't laugh while you're doing it, because then you got a greater chance of dying in those machines. I'll think of them a little bit. I'm at the age where I lost words, and it takes me a while to get them back. Well, this is laughing situation has happened again. There's a Greek, Chrysippus, I think was his name, and he died laughing at was it a mule or a goat, or it was a goat, I think, that was eating not prunes, but figs and drinking wine at the same time. And so this guy saw him doing this, and suddenly it came upon him how ridiculous this situation was, and he started to laugh, and it developed into maybe a syncopied laugh, and he died in front of the animal and his eating. Now, so that's some of the funny ones. Some of the ones that are not so funny, but one that's famous is St. Lawrence on the grill. Now, St. Lawrence was a good guy. He gave money and food to the common people, and before he became a saint, and that may have been the reason they made him a martyr and then a saint. So anyway, they picked up a grill and laid him out on it, and after a while he said, "Would you all please turn me over? I'm done on that side." And I guess they did. I haven't heard anything about it, but that joke has circulated for better than 1,000 years, I think. and it is kind of funny in the dark kind of a way. Now, there is another darker one than that I haven't even made a joke of, and it is a substance of a lot of good jokes. In Germany, two guys met on the web, and they decided they wanted a mutual contract to eat each other. And so they got started on it, but as you would imagine, one was a little more heavy to the positive side than the other one, and so one left out, and he got packaged up in little plastic bags, I guess, and put in the freezer. The court records cover all this stuff. I'm not going to do it. But can you imagine somebody who is really interested in dark jokes, how many jokes you could pull out of that situation? I'll never know. See, I'm laughing, and it's a horrible, horrible thing to laugh at something like that, don't you think? And here we got the last one I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about dogs for a few minutes, and I can't move this camera to catch Bailey there, but she's asleep as usual, so she's not going to perform. Anyway, very recently, there was a instance where a guy I guess he was going to hunting, and he had a shotgun or whatever the gun he had on the back seat of his car, and the dog stepped on the trigger accidentally and killed him. I guess it blew his head off there. He was driving, So that's a sad story, but it's also filled with the material for some jokes. Where in the hell did you get a dog accidentally shooting his keeper? Yeah. So, but I'm not going to do it because when I talk about dead dogs and stuff like that, I kind of tear up, and I just can't handle it, and that and that's the way